The night Elena Graves died, the rain did not stop. It poured like the sky itself was trying to wash away what had been done. Her body lay cold on the stone floor of the old cathedral, blood soaking into the cracks, eyes frozen open in disbelief. Dark symbols burned faintly around her, symbols of forbidden magic. She had been sacrificed, and the man who cast the spell stood trembling beside her. Lucien Blackthorn was known across the kingdom as a heartless dark sorcerer. People whispered that he had no soul, that he fed on suffering and fear. They were wrong. He had a soul, and it was breaking. "I didn't know it would take you," he whispered, falling to his knees beside her body. His hands shook as he reached for her face, already cold. "You weren't supposed to be here." But death did not answer. What Lucien didn't know was this. Elena was not gone. She woke to silence. No pain, no weight, no breath. She stood slowly and looked down and saw herself. Her own lifeless body lay beneath her, bloodied and broken. Panic surged through her, but no scream came out. She touched her throat. Her hand passed through it. "I'm dead," she whispered. The candles flickered violently. Lucien gasped and turned his eyes wide. He could feel it, the shift in the air, the presence that shouldn't exist. "Elena," he said, his voice cracking. She stared at him in shock. "You can see me?" "No," he whispered, "but I can feel you." Days passed, then weeks. Elena's spirit remained bound to cathedral, tethered by the magic that killed her. At first, she hated Lucien. She watched him suffer, watched him punish himself, refusing to leave the place where she died. Every night, he spoke to the darkness, confessing his sins as if she could hear him. "I've killed many," he said one night, tears streaking down his face. "But your death, it broke something in me." Slowly, Elena's hatred softened. She followed him, watched him, learned him. She saw the way he fed stray animals, how he healed villagers in secret, never taking credit, how he avoided mirrors, as if afraid of the man staring back. "You're not the monster they say you are," she whispered, though he couldn't hear her. One night, as Lucien slept, Elena reached out without thinking and touched his hand. For the first time since her death, he felt her. He woke with a sharp gasp. "Elena," he breathed. She stood beside him, glowing faintly in the moonlight. This time he could see her. They stared at each other, frozen between life and death. "You killed me," she said softly. "I know," he replied, tears falling freely. "And I would give my life to undo it." From that night on, they met in secret. A dead girl and a damned sorcerer. They talked for hours, laughed, cried, shared memories. Elena learned magic through him. Lucien learned hope through her. Sometimes, when the moon was strongest, she could almost feel his warmth. Sometimes his lips brushed her forehead, but never fully touched. Falling in love felt cruel, because love reminded her of what she had lost. And Lucien knew the truth. "There is a spell," he confessed one night, "a resurrection ritual." Her eyes filled with hope. "You can bring me back?" "Yes," he said, then looked away. "But it requires a living soul." Silence crushed them. "You mean yours?" she whispered. Lucien smiled sadly. "My life or yours would be a fair trade." "No," Elena said firmly. "I won't live by killing you." "But I can't live knowing you're trapped like this," he replied. The final night came quietly. Lucien prepared the ritual circle. Candles burned with black flames. The air trembled with power. Elena stood in the center, her spirit shaking. "Promise me something," she said. "Anything." "Live," she whispered. "Even if I don't." He hesitated, then shattered the spell circle with a blast of magic. The cathedral shook. The candles went out. Elena felt herself fading. Lucien reached for her, screaming her name as her form dissolved into light. "I loved you," she said, smiling through tears. And then she was gone. Years later, people say the dark sorcerer vanished. Some say he died. Others say he wanders the world, protecting the innocent. But on rainy nights, in the ruins of the old cathedral, a man can sometimes be seen standing alone, whispering love to a ghost who saved his soul. Elena should not have been able to feel anything. She was dead. And yet, as Lucien's fingers trembled inches from her face, she felt something she hadn't felt since her last breath. Fear mixed with longing. "You're real," Lucien whispered, his voice breaking. "I can see you now." Elena took a step back. Her feet didn't touch the floor. She hovered just above it, her form glowing faintly like moonlight trapped in mist. "You couldn't before," she said. "Why now?" Lucien swallowed hard. "Because I stopped fighting the guilt." The cathedral groaned softly, ancient stones reacting to magic older than both of them. Candles lit themselves, flames burning blue instead of gold. Elena looked around nervously. "Your magic, it's changing." "So are you," he replied. Days turn into nights, and nights into something else entirely, moments stolen from eternity. Lucien learned the rules of her existence. She could only appear fully after sunset. Iron weakened her. Holy symbols burned her skin. But moonlight made her stronger, clearer, more alive. And Elena learned his secrets. She watched him remove his gloves one night, revealing hands covered in scars, old spell burns, punishment marks from magic rituals gone wrong. "They did this to you?" she asked softly. "I did," Lucien answered. "Every time I crossed a line I couldn't return from." Despite herself, Elena reached out. This time, her fingers didn't pass through him completely. They brushed his skin, cold to her, warm to him. Lucien gasped. Elena froze. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean—" "Don't stop," he said quickly, desperation naked in his eyes. "Please." Their connection grew stronger each night. Sometimes they laughed, sitting on broken pews like ordinary lovers. Sometimes they argued about fate, about death, about the night she died. "You still haven't told me the truth," Elena said one night. "Why was I there?" Lucien closed his eyes. "Because the spell needed innocent blood, and you were in the wrong place at the wrong time." Her chest tightened. "So my death was convenient." "No!" He snapped and softened. It was unbearable. But peace never lasts in dark magic. One night, Elena felt it first, a pressure in the air, heavy and watching. The shadows along cathedral walls twisted unnaturally. "Lucien," she whispered, "we're not alone." A voice echoed from the darkness, smooth and cruel. "You never were." A figure emerged, tall, cloaked, eyes glowing red like dying embers. "Malrek, Lucien's former master." "I felt a soul that shouldn't exist," Malrek said, smiling as his gaze locked onto Elena. "And here she is." Lucien stepped in front of her instantly. "Leave." Malrek laughed. "You killed her, boy, and now you protect her? How poetic." Elena felt terror ripple through her fading form. "He knows me." "He wants you," Lucien said through clenched teeth. "A bound soul like yours is powerful. He'd turn you into a weapon." Malrek raised his hand, dark chains of magic snapping through the air. Elena screamed as they wrapped around her spirit, burning like fire. "No!" Lucien roared. He unleashed everything, raw, violent magic that shattered pillars and sent shockwaves through cathedral. Malrek staggered but smiled wider. "She's tied to your guilt," Malrek taunted. "And guilt is easy to control." With a final spell, Malrek vanished, leaving silence and broken stone behind. Elena collapsed into Lucien's arms, weaker than ever. "I'm fading," she whispered, her glow dimming. He damaged the tether. Lucien held her, shaking. "I won't let you disappear." That night, he searched forbidden grimoires buried beneath the cathedral, books written in blood and madness. And he found it, the resurrection ritual. But this time, the truth was worse than he'd admitted before. To restore Elena fully, to give her breath, warmth, a heartbeat, the spell required not just a living soul, but a willing sacrifice bound by love. Lucien stared at the page until tears blurred the ink. "You were right," he whispered to the empty air. "The price is mine." Elena appeared weakly beside him. "You're hiding something again." He forced a smile. "Just old magic." She looked at him, eyes full of trust, and it broke him. Outside, thunder rolled. And far away, Malrek watched, waiting for Lucien to make the choice that would destroy them both. Elena was fading faster now. Each night she appeared thinner, her glow weaker, like a candle fighting the wind. Lucien noticed every change, even the one she tried to hide. "You're lying to me," Elena said one evening, her voice trembling like glass. "I can feel it. The tether, it's breaking." Lucien turned away, jaw clenched. "I'm fixing it. You said that last time." Silence fell between them, heavy and dangerous. Elena drifted closer, studying his face. Dark circles bruised his eyes. His hands shook from sleepless nights and forbidden spells. "What did you find in those books?" she asked gently. Lucien closed his eyes. "The truth," he whispered. He told her everything. About the resurrection ritual. About the willing sacrifice. About love being the final requirement. Elena laughed bitterly. "So the universe finally found a way to be cruel." "I won't do it," Lucien said quickly. "I'd rather watch the world burn than lose you again. And I won't come back if it costs your life," she replied just as fiercely. They argued, voices breaking, emotion spilling. Love, anger, fear tangled into something unbearable. "You don't get to decide for me," Lucien shouted. "And you don't get to die for me." Elena cried. The cathedral shook as their magic and emotion collided. Cracks spread across the ceiling like veins. That was when Malrek returned. The shadows thickened, crawling along the walls until they formed his shape. His smile was sharp. "Ah," he said softly. "Young love, always so dramatic." Lucien raised his hands instantly, magic flaring. "Stay back." Malrek's gaze flicked to Elena, hunger burning in his eyes. "She's nearly gone. You can feel it, can't you?" Elena felt it too, a pull, like the world was gently letting her go. "I can help," Malrek continued. "I know another way. No sacrifice." Lucien hesitated. Elena shook her head. "He's lying." Malrek's smile wider. "Only partly." He revealed the truth like poison honey. Elena's soul could be bound permanently to Lucien, not resurrected, not free, a living shadow, immortal, dependent on Lucien's life force. "You'd never lose her," Malrek said, "and she'd never leave you." Elena felt sick. "I'd be a parasite." "A queen," Malrek corrected. "Feared. Eternal." Lucien's hands trembled. For one terrible moment, he considered it. Elena saw in his eyes, and her heart broke. "I won't become your chain," she whispered, "and I won't let you become my jailer." Malrek laughed. "Then choose quickly. Dawn is coming." With a blast of magic, Malrek vanished again, leaving the choice behind like a curse. That night, Elena made her decision. She waited until Lucien fell asleep at the altar, exhaustion finally claiming him. Her form flickered, unstable. "I love you," she whispered, brushing her lips against his forehead, feeling him one last time. Then she did something impossible. She left the cathedral. The tether snapped. Lucien woke with a scream. "Elena!" He ran outside into the breaking dawn, heart pounding, magic screaming through his veins. He found her at the edge of the cliff beyond the ruins, her form barely visible in the morning light. "What are you doing?" he gasped. "Ending this," she said softly, "before love turns into another kind of curse." Tears streamed down his face. "Come back. Please." "If I stay," she whispered, "you'll die for me, and I won't be the reason you vanish from this world." She stepped backward toward the rising sun. Light burned through her like fire. "Elena, don't." "I choose love," she said, smiling sadly, "not possession." Her form shattered into golden ash, carried away by the wind. Lucien fell to his knees, screaming her name as the last of her light disappeared. The sun rose fully, and for the first time since her death, Elena was free. But Lucien was utterly, completely alone. Far away, Malrek watched the dawn and frowned. "This isn't over," he muttered. "Love like that never truly ends." The world felt wrong without her. Lucien Blackthorne stood at the edge of the cliff long after the sun had risen, staring at the empty sky where Elena had vanished. The wind carried only silence now. No whisper, no glow, no presence. For the first time in his life, the dark sorcerer felt truly powerless. Days passed, then weeks. Lucien returned to the cathedral, but it no longer felt sacred or cursed, only hollow. He stopped using magic. The books of forbidden spells gathered dust. Villagers noticed something strange. The dark sorcerer no longer frightened children, no longer demanded fear. He simply existed. At night, Lucien dreamed of Elena, not as a ghost, but as she had been before her death, warm, laughing, alive, and every morning he woke up alone, until the dreams changed. One night, Lucien jolted awake, heart racing. The candles around him flickered violently, flames bending inward. The air grew heavy. Lucien, a familiar voice whispered. He froze. "No," he breathed. "I'm imagining things." Light gathered near the altar, soft, golden, trembling. Slowly, a figure formed. Elena, not glowing like before, not fading. She stood solid, barefoot on the stone floor, tears shining in her eyes. Lucien staggered back. "This isn't real. You're gone. I watched you disappear." "So did I," she said softly. He reached out, terrified his hand would pass through her. It didn't. Her skin was warm. Lucien collapsed to his knees, sobbing as he held her. "How?" he choked. "I didn't do the ritual. I didn't sacrifice." "You didn't," Elena said. "I did." She pulled back slightly, making him look at her. "When I let go, when I chose freedom instead of fear, the tether broke differently. The magic no longer bound me to death." Lucien shook his head. "That's impossible." "Not for love," she whispered. But their reunion was cut short. The shadows screamed. The cathedral doors exploded inward as Malrek stepped inside, fury burning in his eyes. "So," he snarled, "the soul chose its own resurrection." Elena turned, fear flickering. But she didn't hide. Malrek laughed darkly. "Do you know what she is now, Lucien? Neither dead nor alive. A miracle forged by love. And miracles belong to those strong enough to take them." Lucien stood in front of Elena, calm for the first time in years. "No," he said quietly. "They don't." Malrek unleashed his power, darkness flooding the cathedral like a storm. But Lucien didn't fight with rage this time. He fought with purpose. Light and shadow collided. Stones shattered. Ancient runes ignited across the walls. Elena felt something awaken inside her. Not death magic, not dark magic, but living magic. The kind born from sacrifice without blood. She reached for Lucien. Their hands met. The power surged. Malrek screamed as the magic unraveled him, stripping him of stolen souls, stolen strength. His body cracked like glass. "This isn't possible," he roared. Lucien looked at him coldly. It is when love refuses to be corrupted. With one final blast, Malrek was erased. No ashes, no shadow. Gone. Silence returned. The cathedral stood broken, but peaceful. Lucien turned to Elena, fear creeping into his voice. "Are you?" "I'm here," she smiled. "Fully." Outside, life slowly returned. Grass grew where blood once stained stone. The cathedral ruins became a place of quiet legend. Lucien left the past behind. He and Elena traveled together. Not as sorcerer and ghost, not as curse and consequence, but as two souls who chose each other freely. Sometimes, Elena would catch him staring at her, as if afraid she'd vanish again. "I'm not going anywhere," she'd tease. He'd smile, still amazed, because some love stories don't end in tragedy. Some begin there and survive, and in a world once ruled by dark magic, love became the strongest spell ever cast.